way offering.
All right, so here we go. We look at the action here. We've got Frafa looking at open hand. I'm going to tell the players that they are good to go, and it looks like we're at mulligans here. So Frafa's looking at an all justice hand here.
I fully expect Frafa to mulligan this hand.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. Although you do have those two equalizes there.
Equalize is good, but not 3 power is not where you're going to be. Yeah. So and now that's a hand. Double exploit tower plus suffocate for removal. Now that's a good hand.
That is a pretty good hand. Lots of cheap action here. Plus 3 power, both factions, and then a tower after that. Seems like you can't do much better than that.
Yeah, I mean the only thing better would be, I don't know, if you had a second seat and another Justice Sigil or something, so that way you could have your Silexes online. But as you guys have seen, Exploit has been, a breakout star card of the new set, and it is very good. You just get to see everything in your opponent's hand, and you get to pick it apart. You get to know their game plan. You get to take the key piece of it, and you get a plunder, which is just a fantastic mechanic. So like right here, like Frafa, I think would be likely to plunder away this Tavrod, and I don't know what he's going to see, but.
Right, and I'm trying to get the hand cams up here as well. On the other side we look like we've got a hand full of power plus a pompous historian. So not the greatest hand for CaptainTeembro, but they've got something going on.
Oh, I guess Frafa got rid of suffocate because Frafa knew what was in Teembro's hand, right? So he knew that the suffocate was going to be less good than it could be otherwise.
Looks like
and
it
seems
yeah.
like Frafa took the merchant. Because going to the market is what because players they know each other's deck list, right? So
they
like,
do.
Frafa
it is
knows
open deck
what
list.
Yeah,
Trying
to do.
Mm-hmm. It is open deck list tonight. Yep.
So I guess I would expect Frafa to just slam tower and make some 1/1 Valkyries to block and protect it. Seems like the thing. You gotta put some Valkyries in play for your Valkyrie Warp.
You do. That Valkyrie Warp, we saw some good value of that last week. A little bit better than I had expected.
Valkyrie Warp. As I said when I was doing the review of the set, I thought there was a chance that Valkyrie Warp would play better than I expected to, and it has. It has played better than I expected. Now, I still think the mechanic is unbelievably silly, but the mechanic has played a lot better than I expected. I expected it to play horribly, and it has played pretty well, even against it. It's fine mechanically. It's still pretty silly thematically, but it's okay. Now here's a thought. What Frafa could have done is Frafa could have double blocked. Oh no. Okay, here's a sweet play. Frafa should suffocate his own Valkyrie and then play Equalize. What do you think?
All right, I just got the hand cams up. Sorry about that. Should have what we see in hand cam there. Okay, we've got the curfew enforcement there on CaptainTeembro's units.
Did you hear my? I guess my play's not that good. It's probably better to hold it. But I did kill the sweet play of suffocate your own unit and then equalize.
You could, and we actually saw some plays like that on Friday. Some heads up plays to destroy your units or do some chump blocking to set up for that equalize. Definitely always need to be aware that that's something you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I expect a suffocate here just to keep this fight alive, but you never know.
All right, CaptainTeembro going to draw a siege supplier for the turn. That's a big one.
I love Siege Supplier. I don't know how good that card is, but I've always wanted it to be good. And by always, I mean like the set's been out for like a week, but still!
That is a 2/7 double damage summon. Put the top 2 cards of your deck into your market. Then if it has 7 more cards in it, draw 1 at random. So it doesn't look like we got that second clause there, but we did get the 2/7 double damage with the market ability.
No, they definitely got the clause, because if you start with a market of 5 cards, you always draw a card off Siege Supplier.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
so
and then they got one off of it.
Deck horribly.
No, there you go, and they did get Emergent Colossus, so my mistake there.
Yeah, so the cool part about that is that, it is sort of a random draw, but, the cards you mark are cards you want to draw anyways, and otherwise you're drawing a card from your deck. Like, worst case scenario is, in some respects, that you put 2 power in your market and draw one of those, but even then, if you're playing a big Sentinel deck, it's likely to be a fine situation to be in anyways.
True, a card's a card for there, absolutely. All right, Frafa empty-handed except for this Equalize here, but they do have that 1/1 Valkyrie. growing gas off the top of the deck here for Teembro. Here comes another one. Here comes another siege supplier. And they're going to pull out a power cell from the top of the deck there.
I would be surprised if Frafa blocks to equalize to empty the hands.
Yep, yeah, there we go. There's the block and the equalize. They're going to start off with the Silex, though.
Okay. We'll see what's on top.
Get a Tavrod.
That's
probably still fire off the equalize first, though.
Yeah. In some respects, though, it is a little unfortunate. You know, Frafa would have loved to draw Silex next turn and not this turn. You know, the fact that he drew the power that literally put a card into his hand meant that you couldn't, you know, empty CaptainTeembro's hand.
Yep. And Teembro's got an Emerging Colossus there in hand, and they just drew a Copper Conduit. That's a pretty good one to draw off the top of the deck at this point.
Yeah. But Frafa's following it up by drawing a Lord Steyer's Tower, which, you know, is also a powerful card.
And it turns out the 5/7 Tavrod can block that Conduit.
Yup. It's a good card.
Ooh, but there's the Laser Blast. Okay, that's going to take care of the Tavrod.
Okay, but Frafa will get to potentially draw a weapon. There are a number of them in the deck.
Ooh, there's a pretty good one. There's an 11 power backbreaker there.
Why, hello, backbreaker. What are you doing here?
Of course, Frafa's going to slam that down, take care of that Conduit, and leave leave an 11 power weapon behind, plus an equalize off the top. Pretty nice sequence there for Frafa.
And one of the benefits of sites is that they play well with equalize, right? You can play a site, play, you know, Oath, and then equalize, and that, you know, keeps the card out of your hand, right? And puts a card into play that gives you value while still, it's kind of like a relic in that sense.
All right. CaptainTeembro is going to drop Open the Gem Blazer here. Summon, give one of your other Sentinels +5/+5. Entomb, deal damage to an enemy unit equal to the number of Sentinels in your Void. Now, Frafa does not have any units. It's not an enemy, it's an enemy unit. So it cannot actually really do it. That clause doesn't really matter here.
I like to think of Opum, the Gem Blazer, as the drug lord because his name sounds like opium.
It does sound like that. Opium the Blazer. There you go. All right, well, there's the equalize, and there's the hit for 11.
Oh, that is a big chunk.
And that's gonna put Teembro down to lethal on board.
And once again, you know, Frafa drawing that Silex when he'd rather not, because again, Silex makes equalize just slightly inconvenient. You know, obviously it's not the end of the world because you get an extra card in hand, you get that trove, but like you don't get to wipe the opponent's hand out. So
what a massive drawback for Silex here. All right, Teembro trying to see how they can stay alive through this. They've got Emerging Colossus, which they cannot cast. They've got an Auto Tread and an Aurelian Merchant here.
And you got a Merchant to get put back the Emerging Colossus to get an actual card, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else really does anything.
Yeah, and from the
I guess the other play would be if you Auto Tread, ping twice on the site, then or ping once on the face and once on the site, then you do kill the weapon at the very least.
All right, that's going to be our Bartolo's Keepsake off the top for Frafa. It's going to get the 2 Valks out.
Draw. At this point, if you play Keepsake, you can even get Rollins with it, because yes, it doesn't put the Rollins in play, but you have enough power to just play the Rollins and then attack the Merchant to get value.
Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Exactly what Frafa did.
All right, that's going to put Frafa in a pretty overwhelming position here. Let's see what Teembro can do. They're going to draw an attachment or Sentinel from their Void. They're going to get an Amberlock to draw some cards. Oh, and a Sentinel. Okay. So they can draw a card, but they can also get a Sentinel out. So, little 2-for-1 here.
That's good. Yeah, it's a very good market card. I wonder... I wonder if... I forgot that's what a thing you could do, because it's been so long. Back in a beta, closed beta, what was it? Copper Conduit? That's the card. Copper Conduit, you know, was eventually nerfed and you got 1 extra cost. But one really fun thing to do back in beta was you play it, and then it died, and you play Dark Return, you play it again. And when you play it again, it gets to keep the buff, and it just gets even bigger and bigger.
It does, and you're going to see that here. Now, only up to an 8-ed here. Use the remaining power, use the Temple Tactic to bounce the Roland. Frafa's still in great position here. I mean, it's still an 11 power weapon that's not answered here, plus...
Unfortunately for Teembro, it looks like Frafa will just play Roland's attack and, you know, make another Valkyrie, and then when the site pops, that's pretty brutal for Teembro. You know, a 6/6 flying endurance that draws cards.
And yeah, while Teembro got some good value there, it's just not enough. All that really did was buy a turn, but Frafa's just going to keep snowballing that incremental value here. And I think we're going to see that a lot today, just snowballing incremental value. Once one of these decks gets ahead and starts getting sight out after a next sight, you can't really play much from behind. You know, the only really card you have to play from behind is this Equalize card, and we see so much of that. All right, like you said,
the only other option is the card that you saw that Teembro just had in hand is Speaking Circle. You know, I think what Teembro should have probably done there is, you have no chance, so just play Speaking Circle, because it's unlikely, but you can just get your own Equalize off Speaking Circle, right?
That's
so
true.
Go for when you're out. That's your out. You gotta play for your outs.
All right, Frafa's going to take game one, so they're going to go up 1-0.
Another out would have been, if you got Devastating Setback off your Speaking Circle, you at least get to clear the board of 1/1s and survive for an extra turn, which potentially could, follow up with other removal for that Roland or something, force them to attack the site. I love the Speaking Circle.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Speaking Circle already, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of it tonight as well. All right, Frafa looking at a hand of three depleted power, Suffocate, a Backbreaker, a Speaking Circle, and a Roland. And Teembro's got 2 power, Pompous Historian, Opium, two Amber Locks, and Pompous Historian here. Frafa's going to throw their depleted power hand back, yeah.
Which is interesting, because I feel like it was a hard mulligan decision, because, while it is all depleted, it does have all your influence, right? Or
it did, yep, it did.
Shadow. And, that number of good cards. But it was expensive, everything cost 6 in that hand. Stands a lot cheaper. Oh, good draw for Frafa off the top.
Yep.
For those of you at home, I can't actually see Teembro's hand because the way I'm watching it. So I'm relying on Telemocos to inform me on what's going on Teembro's side.
Absolutely. Well, kind of your typical hand here. We've got some card draw, and then you've got some Copper Conduit. You've got Pompous Historian, Opum coming up, as well as just drew a Merchant off the top there. So no power right now, but lots of big things in hand here. Frafa going to keep developing out here. Drawing a Roland there.
Keepsake is... Ooh, that's unfortunate. Frafa was really hoping to hit power or a 3-drop unit, whether it was another Deathwing or a Merchant. Thankfully, there is, Bartholo's Keepsake, doesn't have a super hard fail case. While you want to put something to play with it, at the very least, it's not minus a card, right? So at the very least, he put a card in his hand. But he was really hoping to hit power with that Keepsake.
Teembro did hit their power for the turns, and then they're going to play out Merchant here. So they're actually going to get up to their 5th power, and they're going to grab a Porcelain Mask from the market here.
Ooh, Porcelain Mask. That's a good, got to hit those Rolands in hand, right? Because that's, the way Expeditions is working is you gotta come up with a game plan for Roland, because that Roland's coming, because Roland's one of the best pillars of the format. It's one of the best cards in the format. So if you don't have a plan to deal with Roland, you will just lose a bunch of games.
All right, here comes out that Conduit for CaptainTeembro here.
And Frafa just can't draw power. That's an oof right there. Oh, and not even a regular power again. The Silex downside, right? Because you wanna play Equalize here, but you also don't want to discard your whole hand. But...
Yeah, so Equalize here will take care of those 2 big units, but how many cards? That's gonna be discarding 3, 4, at least 4 cards here for Frafa. I mean, you might still have to do it, but that is gonna come at a cost.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame Frafa if he played Deathwing and then Equalized. Although, it's just awkward.
Yeah.
There are some easy cards to discard though. Roland's easy to discard. It's really cool for Teembro to playing on Equalize in some respects by playing Amberlock, right? It's card draw but on a delay, which means that you eventually get to recoup that card post an Equalize. So
yeah. That is actually interesting that it allows you to sort of play the game of having one less card in hand, but all right.
Frafa kept the Roland. That had to be a mistake, because he could have developed the Deathwing post Equalize, right? And the Roland's silenced, is it not? And that would put a Valkyrie in play for Valkyrie Warp for the future. So
that is a silenced Roland, so kept the 2/5 for 4.
Yeah, I have to imagine that he just forgot.
Definitely possible. All right, an Opum off the top here. So, reminder, Teembro has a Pyrotechnic Explosion, a Coveted Gemstone, a Siege Supplier, and an Opum in hand.
Ooh, Coveted Gemstone. I like that card. Do you like that card, Telemokos? How do you feel about Coveted Gemstone?
Let's see. Coveted Gemstone, +1 maximum power, pay 2, and sacrifice it to draw a Sentinel or attachment from your market. Seems pretty good. I like how you can use it in the early game to develop your power, and then late game trade it in for something really impactful once you've reached your power.
Now, as much as I love Siege Supplier, I will admit Tavrod is Siege Supplier is not very good at Tavrod. Becoming a 2/2 double damage is very different than a 2/5.
That's true. Although look at this pair. The Opum is going to give it +5/+5, meaning that's now now that's up to a 7/7 double damage there. Nice little interaction.
Now the awkward thing about Coveted Gemstone in some respects, power off the top for Frafa is not what he wanted to see.
No, definitely
but as
not.
I was saying, there's a slightly awkward interaction between Coveted Gemstone and Siege Supplier, because Coveted Gemstone says that you draw the card from your market, right? You're not swapping it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you draw it, your market goes to 4. So if you activate Coveted Gemstone before you play your first Siege Supplier, the Siege Supplier won't draw a card, because once you go to 4 cards in market,
Right.
Siege Supplier doesn't put you up to 7. So, well, I don't know that comes up very much, because if it did come up, you had to have cracked the gemstone anyways, because you had so much power that you just needed to. It is kind of funny that there is this sort of slight tension between the two cards.
Yeah, it's really good to point that out there. So CaptainTeembro is going to take game 2, and they're going to tie it up 1-1. Quick reminder that these are all best of 3 here. Frafa on that equalize, I mean, they were facing down some big Sentinels, so I think they had to fire that off, but discarding 5 cards there and then drawing two power off the top, it was really painful. That was actually a really painful equalize for Frafa. I'm not sure what else they could have done there.
That being said, this hand looks a lot better for Frafa. I mean, you got Bartholo's Keepsake on. You have Suffocate on the. You got Suffocate on 1 if you want to, but I imagine you just go for the Keepsake stuff. But anyways, so yeah, you got options here. So you can Suffocate on 1. You could have Seek Power, then you followed up with Exploit into Bartholo's Keepsake or Deathwing. There's a lot of options. This hand has a lot of early interaction, which is kind of what you want to be doing, right? And as always, as I said, Exploit is exceptionally powerful.
Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of exploits so far this weekend, and it's been pretty good every game. Definitely a powerful card. All right, they're going to see here a hand of 2 Siege Suppliers, a Copper Conduit, a Pompous Historian, and an Aurelian Merchant here. And they're going to take the Merchant. Keep Teembro off of that power. Teembro has 2 power right now and just got rid of that Merchant.
So does Teembro have any power in hand?
No power in hand.
I
really
like that. I really like turning that Backbreaker into power there.
Yeah.
It may not seem like much, but it allows you to play Bartholo's Keepsake next turn and play Silex the turn after it. Backbreaker is a powerful card, but it's powerful later, and the deck has a bunch of powerful cards, so it's better to ensure you can develop your board early. And as you can see, playing this Deathwing out for free could be really huge. What if there's a Lord Styre's Tower off the top?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Teembro going for it.
Teembro says, well, I can't cast any of these cards in my hand, so might as well discard all 3 to kill your Deathwing. Wow. Aggressive move there, but I guess take care of it.
Yeah.
Although now they're just down to 1 card in hand, just that Copper Conduit.
Now, the big upside there, though, is, and maybe what Teembro is thinking, is that if he didn't do that, Suffocate could happen, then Teembro has nothing going on. So now Teembro, it looks like, doesn't have very much going on anyways, but Teembro might have just been, the second was killer. Oh, and playing a 3/3 is just brutal.
That's going to get hit by the Suffocate, and now this game is completely in Frafa's hands. And they're going to have a Speaking Circle coming down next turn.
Yeah, Speaking Circle can kill this Power Cell, maybe kill the Amber Lock, depending on what Frafa gets off of it. Either way, I'm excited to see. Oh my god, we're going to watch the circle spin to win.
Alright, let's see. Tough choice on this first one, taking Frafa a minute. And there is a Wisdom of the Elders for the first one.
Ooh, that's a good draw. See, and that's why I like Speaking Circle. Like, it's random, but it's not actually super high variance, because you're likely to get some form of removal, some form of card advantage, and Relic Destruction is also for look. Oh yeah, that's right, because we're in
Razor Blades. Yep. So now, heads up, this is one thing with the friendly challenges for everyone watching as well. In game, I believe that can only pull from the Expedition card base, but because these are friendly challenges, it doesn't have that restriction. So this is not exactly how it's going to play out, in the real world per se. So we're going to get a little more options. There's more breadth, but that also means you're less likely to hit some specific cards than you would in Expedition.
Yeah, so just also of note, I believe Amplify is still bugged on the Speaking Circle, where you can't play it for its full cost because it always thinks you're paying it for its first cost. So, so for example, this Razor Blade's on there. You can amplify it once for paying 3 power, but you can't pay 6 power because it thinks that you've already paid the 3 for the first half of it.
Okay.
So that's I don't know if Barrel has fixed that yet, but it was bugged last I played with the cards.
All right, Frafa going to deploy out a Tavrod. Now, CaptainTeembro has drawn some action. They drew a Siege Supplier and they've drawn another Merchant, but they're still short on power. They're up to 4 now, but they definitely have not been able to deploy their threats effectively this game, and that's really held them back.
Fortunately, there's this exploit in hand, so if Frafa thinks to use it, and, I would, if the opponent draws a card and then they Amber Lock, then it seems fairly useful to, see what the rest of their hand, right? And as you can see, that's exactly what Frafa did.
They're going to fire off that exploit.
Probably takes Merchant here.
I would think so. Keep Teembro from switching out something from the market and from developing their power any further. That's going to take care of that. So Teembro is stuck with the Siege Supplier in hand that they cannot cast. And a 5/5 on board.
And drawing a Silex. That's...
Drawing a Silex there. And Teembro is not going to be able to do anything to stop this Queen of Glass coming out, and that is going to be very tough to deal with.
Well, if you attack, doesn't Opum have Overwhelm?
I do not believe so.
No, it does not have Overwhelm. It just has an ability. It has an in 2. That's correct. Yeah, so Queen of Glass, for those of you who don't... sorry.
Yep, you're good. Queen of Glass is a 7/7 with regen and unblockable. And for certain decks can deal with that, but the Praxis deck definitely cannot. And unfortunately, CaptainTeembro stuck a little bit on power there, and Frafa is going to take that game 3 easily, and they are going to take the match 2-1.